Hello, Jamie from InkyAndScrappy, sharing with you today card 2 in my Fangtastic Friends card series. I'm tying this one in with my Halloween one because it's Halloween themed. So I will have the color guide up on my blog if you are interested in that. I use Oohoo bullet nib markers. I brought in Lawn Fawn's Build a Treehouse die set and the mushroom border, and then MFT's Cloud Border dies, and then this oldie but goodie from Sizzix, the Bear Tree die. I wanted some crooked branches. I know there are some other Thinlits out there. I think Tim Holtz has a few with crooked style branches. I know Trinity Stamps just released some, I think they're like slimline tree thingies that would have branches that you could cut apart that would work as well. And then for my background, I was really aiming at that orange, but I love text print, and there's no way I was putting that text print on the back side of my card. So I will do some ink blending after all. I mean, I ink blended everything else, so no big deal, right? And then for my glitter cardstock here, it is from scrapbook.com. It's their glitter pack. It's fairly thin. I would compare it to Yupo when die cutting it. Definitely put a piece of scrap cardstock behind it when you are cutting it out, and then maybe it would cut out full through. It was not easy to get the little pieces out of the mushroom caps. I ended up just abandoning ship after my second one for the mushroom border, and I'll fix it later because I was not going to spend an hour trying to get those little things out. I could have hole punched them, I guess, now that I'm not, in the moment. I always think of good things after I did it the hard way. Go figure. So for my trees, I wanted them to be dark and moody, and so I am just taking some black soot distress ink and covering up my brown wood grain cardstock. I get my wood grain cardstock from envelopes.com in the big pack. It's just more cost effective that way. It's a bigger chunk of money at the start, but then I have enough forever. Okay, maybe not ever, but for a very long time. And so I got that in oak and white. I like both of them, but so yeah, I can do whatever color I want, and then I don't have to. And it's nice heavy stuff, so if anyone is interested, let me know, and I will find you the link for what I actually use. And then for my treetops, I did go with brown just to get that dark and moody look. And this will have a very big bearing on how I end up going with my bats, because I was not planning on going this route. I had some other ones already done and cut out, or ready to get cut out, and I abandoned ship on those. It's a creative process. We learn as we go, or we create as we go sometimes. I don't know. I did bring in some rustic wilderness distress oxide to add a little bit of a green tint to my brown leaves there. And then once I have all of that done, I will clean up my work surface. And then I'm going to bring in that beautiful text background. So to keep with that text, you can't use an oxide because it'll cover up the text. And so you need a dye-based ink. Something that is not pigmented or does not have that pigment. And so I don't have a great deal of distress inks, the regular ones. I just have the mini cubes, and I don't have them all. I have an assortment, but not everything. And so this one was probably color-wise, I would say dusty, maybe Dusty Concord, maybe Villainous Potion, which I do have the distress ink in Villainous Potion, but I didn't think of that at the time. But I just ended up bringing in my close to my heart. I want to say it's pansy purple or eggplant. I'm not exactly sure which one I grabbed. I don't pay that close of attention sometimes. I did bring in the Hocus Pocus mica spray stain from last Halloween's release. This year's Storyteller would probably go good with like a wilted violet purple background. And then for my mushroom border, I was going to leave it and then just ink blend on the gray, and I decided that was going to require way too much work on my part. Like I'd have to mask stuff off, and so I just cut the grass from black and then inked a little bit of green on top to give it that green grass feel and or glow. And then because I'm about as patient can be, you know, I'm going to add my trees. I cut my trees in half. Well, not directly in half. I cut off the door for the most part. So the one that has the door frame, I kind of left that one because I could glue it down and you wouldn't really notice it. But the other side, I just made sure to cut it so my door was not on, like right on the edge there. And then because I am about as patient as can be, I ended up just hand cutting off my border on the bottom here. If I'd have let it dry, I could have taken it to the guillotine cutter, but if you do not let your project dry all the way and then you try to guillotine cut that little tiny sliver, it doesn't cut the greatest. Ask me how I know, because I do it all the time. But, you know, that's one of those tips for you today. And, you know, my patience is very thin. So if I would have thought this one out a little bit better, I would have die cut that embossed piece from the door frame, because then it would have fit inside, and then I would have had a nice, crisp, clean, finished inside of the door. I wasn't planning on opening it when I did it to start with. And then as I was putting it on there, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cute to put something behind the door. So I just took my door frame cutout or dropout piece, which was a black glitter piece of cardstock, and just put that back behind it. So it conceals that partial piece of paper and it makes it look pretty. And then I'm just going to add in that tree die, or my treetop pieces here. And then cheating a little bit on the top one, or on that second layer, top layer, because I knew that the other one was going to go over the top of it, so I wasn't worried about it going all the way to the top. And my tree ended up being a little bit lower than I had planned because my mushroom border was lower, and to get my treetops to go down, I mean, I could have put the treetop thingies down further, but I liked the look of them kind of straight across. So, you know, I'm an on-the-fly crafter kind of girl. I very rarely pre-plan anything. Sometimes I have it planned in my head fairly good, and times like this, nope, not so much. I am so sorry about the light. This is how it is from now until probably spring. In the afternoon, if it is super sunny out, the sun comes in, and I try to block it with my body, but that means I'm like off to the side, and yeah, it is what it is. So I'm sorry if that annoys you. It annoys me greatly. No, I'm not going to get a curtain because I like the natural sunlight, but it's annoying for filming. So I'm just going to add my creepy looking branches here for my bats to hang on. So that was kind of the idea with the branches. I really didn't want just bare trees. I kind of wanted the trees with the leaves. I mean, I could have done something totally different, but I also wanted to use my lawn fawn built a treehouse die set because I just think it goes great with the whole bat. You know, theme. So once I had my background mostly completed, I did go, well, I had to fill in that little spot there. Note to self, maybe not pick up Distress ink, inked things before they are fully dry. My fingerprint is firmly inside that door. So if I ever commit a crime or get lost, whoever gets this card has my fingerprint on file. Just saying. And so to do the tops of the mushrooms, I was thinking about going in with some Nouveau crystal drops, and then I decided to just pull out. I bought these metallic marker pens from the Dollar General for like $3. They're amazing. I was impressed. It colored over the top of the glitter paper very well. And, you know, it's not, I was thinking they were going to be gel pens when I got them, but they're not. They're like a regular, I don't know, can I say Crayola fine tip marker? Maybe? I don't know. They're pretty cool. So, at least for $3, I thought they were pretty cool. So, I'm trying to decide what color bats I want to use, and I end up going with a brown bat. So, Minnesota's bats tend to be a brown bat, a dark brown bat. I have so many bat stories. So, while I'm coloring, I'll tell you one of my bat stories. I did end up going with some purple tipped wings. I tested it out once before I turned the camera on to make sure it was going to blend well. So when we lived in our other house, my haunted house, that's a whole another story for another time, okay? So when we lived in that house, we were married maybe the first year that we were married, because we hadn't had our oldest yet. And so I got up the one night, or like early in the morning, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I went and got a drink, and then I used the bathroom off the kitchen, not the one in our bedroom. And I was sitting on the toilet, and I didn't have the door closed because, you know, everyone in the house was sleeping, whatever. And all of a sudden, this bat flies into the bathroom, and here's me, and I'm like, what? And so it flies out, and I had to reach and like slam the door shut so it wouldn't come back in. So I go to bed, back to bed after the whole bat incident. Close my bedroom door, make sure it's not in my bedroom. Close my bedroom door. My husband's still sleeping, snoring. And so he gets up early in the morning to go to chores, and I had still worked out at that point. And so I'm like, there was a bat. He's like, there's not a bat. You were seeing things. You were like sleep, whatever. I'm like, no, there was a bat. No, there was not. And so him and I'm like, no, there was a bat. I was in the bathroom. It came flying at me. I slammed the door in its face. He's like, whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He didn't believe me, right? So the next day, I had gotten up. I had to work early that day, and he was getting ready for the farm. So he went down to the basement to get dressed because we would go out. We had like a basement back walkway up to the garage, whatever. So he walks down the stairs, and he turns on the light, and all of a sudden he comes back upstairs. I believe you. Here the bat was hanging in the basement, like right when you come around the corner from the steps, and it was like hanging there. And he was like, okay, I believe you. There's a bat in the house. So, you know, at 5:30 in the morning, here we are chasing a bat out of the house. It was all good. But it was so funny because he was like, so didn't believe me. And then, yeah, when it was right there staring at him, he couldn't deny it. He's like, okay, I believe you. So we found the hole. It was coming in through the chimney, we figured. And so we sealed it up tight. We didn't have any bats after that. But yeah, it was kind of a funny bat story. So that's my bat story for today. Minnesota brown bats. They're always great fun, aren't they? So for my sentiment here, we'll get back to the story, or back to the card. The sentiment here, I just hand colored around my letters because I wanted it to match my background for the most part. And then I took the inks that I used for the moth to color in my Halloween. It kind of gives it that glowing look. That's what I was going for. I wanted that Halloween to glow kind of off the card. And I didn't want to use the embossing powder for that. I just didn't think it was going to work very well. And then I'm just going through and adding in my bats. I did cut my bats out with the scan and cut. I did do the direct, it was supposed to cut on the line, or, you know, no outline look. I did end up going in with a black alcohol marker or Copic and color in the little white spots, because mine is off just a teeny tiny bit, and so it does leave a little bit of a white outline in spots, and it cuts the black off in other spots, but it's close enough that I can just go with a black outline pen or a black pen and fix it. I did not do that with my spider. I just didn't feel he needed it. He was on a light gray background, so it wasn't like he was in the tree and you weren't going to see that stark whiteness that you did on my other images against the really black background. And then I do pop up my Happy Halloween sentiment here. I will finish by putting a door handle on my door. And then I thought about adding some more bling to the rest of the card, but that mica spray stain background, which I was sad I had to cover up so much of that background, and the mushroom caps that are purple glittered paper, and the door frame and window frame are glitter paper. So I really didn't think I needed anything, at least not on the bottom. On the top, I kind of wanted those bats to just hang out, you know, or stick out a little bit more. So I opted not to. And then I will add this 5x5 completed panel onto a 6x6 card base. It is just a piece of 12x12 purple pansy, close to my heart paper, scored at 6 inches and folded in half. I have not yet completed the inside on this one. I don't know what I want to put on the inside. I'm sure I will figure something out before I send it out. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. If you have yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing, as it will alert you when new videos go up on the channel. And at this point in time, between now and November, it's haphazard. I can't promise you regularity at all. But have a great one. Keep getting inky.